The Birmingham Children's Crusade of 1963. The Children's Crusade of 1963, a pivotal event in the civil rights movement which opened the eyes of our nation through courageous activism of our youngest citizens. Early in 1963, civil rights leader in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and other civil rights groups developed a plan to desegregate Birmingham, a city that was notorious for its discriminatory practices in employment and public life. Segregation persisted throughout the city, and blacks were allowed to go many places like the fairgrounds only and colored days. The goal of the plan was to use tactics of nonviolent protest to provoke Birmingham civics and business leaders to agree to desegregate. As the campaign continued that month, SCLC leaders Jane Bevel started to enact plans for the Children's Crusade that he and the other leaders believed might help turn the tide in Birmingham. Thousands of children were trained in tactics of nonviolence. On May 2nd, they left the 16th Street Baptist Church in groups heading throughout the city to protest segregation peacefully. One of their goals was to talk to the mayor of Birmingham about segregation in the city. They were not met with a peaceful response. On the first day of the protest, hundreds of children were arrested. By the second day, Commissioner of Public Safety Bull O'Connor ordered police to spray the children with powerful water hoses, hit them with batons, and threaten them with police dogs. Despite the harsh treatment, children continued to volunteer to participate in the demonstration over the next few days. Footage and photographs of the violent crackdown in Birmingham circulated throughout the nation and the world, causing an outcry. Businesses in downtown Birmingham were feeling the pressure. On May 5th, protesters marched to the city jail where many of the young people were still being held. They sang protest songs and continued their tactics of nonviolent demonstration. Finally, local officials had agreed to meet with civil rights leaders and hash out a plan to end the protest. On May 10th, an agreement had been reached. City leaders agreed to desegregate businesses and to free all who had been jailed during the demonstration. Weeks later, the Birmingham Board of Education announced that all students who had been involved in the Children's Crusade would be expelled. The decision was ultimately overturned by the Court of Appeals. The Children's Crusade marked a significant victory in Birmingham. The city was a world spotlight, and officials knew that they could no longer ignore the civil rights movement. Yet the struggle for equality in Birmingham continued. Later that year, in September 1963, 4 little girls were killed by a bomb planted by white supremacists at the 16th Street Baptist Church. Over 20 more were injured. The horrific bombing sent shockwaves through the nation. Despite the violent reaction to the movement for equality and justice, everyday people in Birmingham continued their efforts. And thousands of children, some of them as young as 7 or 8 years old, had kept the momentum of the struggle going on in its most pivotal hours.